the Angel Guidance Coach, bringing you fortnightly tips to help you connect with your inner guidance and live your life's purpose. So today's video is about how to become your own best psychic. So did you know that you're a psychic? Well, you are. Everybody is psychic. You might call it that sixth sense, ESP, or just simply intuition. And when you trust that psychic ability or intuition, you'll probably find that life goes more smoothly, that you find yourself in the right place at the right time. We've all had mystical experiences. I'm amazed how many people come up to me and say that, share a mystical experience that they've had and tell me that they've never shared it with anyone else before. I feel like if we were more open about these psychic mystical experiences that we've all had, we'll realize that it's very common, it's very normal to be this way. We're all this way. You are a spiritual psychic being living in a physical experience. So it's those little things like the phone rings and you just immediately know who it is before you've looked at the caller ID, of course. Sensing that someone was about to transition. You might have had that where a loved one passed on and maybe 24 hours before you had a premonition that that was going to happen, or you sensed something at that moment of transition. So we're all sensitive beings. So one of the most common questions I get asked by people is, how do I develop that psychic ability more? So here's some tips for you. First of all, you have 4 psychic abilities, and we call those intuition, vision, prophecy, and feeling. So intuition is your clairaudient gift. Through your gift of intuition, you will hear the still small voice inside. Through your gift of vision, that's the clairvoyant part. Through that gift, you will see pictures and visions come to you, inner visions. Through your gift of prophecy, you'll get inner knowings. You'll just know things without being told. And through your gift of feeling, you'll get gut feelings and hunches. You have all 4 of these psychic abilities. And if you're tuned in, you will recognize that you're actually receiving this inner guidance all the time. You might have just thought of it as your imagination or getting ideas or thinking things over. But actually at those times you really are using your psychic ability. So to be more aware of this, number 1 tip is to practice using it. The sad thing is that as we get older, we get more entrenched in the physical, in our mind, and we lose some of that natural psychic ability we had as children. So if you have children, just watch them. Notice how psychic they are and how much they trust that psychic ability naturally. You were like that, and you can get back to a more childlike state by just being aware. Okay, so tip number 2 is to be more relaxed. If you're stressed and worried, you won't be as in tune with that psychic ability. You're more in your head. Okay, so the idea is to get out of your head, out of the pressure, out of the stress of life, and tune in more to the still small voice inside, your inner guidance, that part of you that knows that you know. And this does require being relaxed. I'm not telling you to meditate for 30 or 60 minutes every day. That's great if you can, but many people just find it very difficult to integrate a practice like that into their everyday life. But you can practice being relaxed and mindful all the time. You can take deep breaths. You can use a technique called the spiritual cleansing, which you'll learn about in some of our programs, that will really help you anytime you feel tense to just simply relax. Slow down is a big one too, right? So another tip is to write down the insights and that inner guidance when it comes through. So if you have a great idea or an understanding suddenly come to your mind, or you see a vision, perhaps a premonition of the future of what might be coming for you, or even a premonition about what might happen for somebody else, that happens occasionally. Write them down. Write down your dreams. This is your psychic ability and the messages of your angels coming through. You'll find that the more that you actually acknowledge and write them down on physical paper, then you will notice it happening more. It's almost as if that opens the floodgates, opens up the channel to the psychic information coming forth. It's always available to you, but you might not have been tuned into it. So you're tuning yourself into the right frequency. And you're just going to notice it happening all the time. You're actually receiving hundreds of psychic impressions from your angels each day, but you might not have realized that, or you might be blocking it. And the next tip is simply to trust your feelings or your sensitivity over your head. Your mind can go thinking and analyzing and dissecting all day long. And often that's not productive and it's not helpful. So the feeling part, or your psychic nature, is more simple than that. It doesn't analyze things or write down all the pros and cons. It simply is a state of being, of tuning in and receiving. And that's very different than how your mind works. So your mind or your intellect is good, but it can run away with itself. Okay, so this is always a practice of relaxing that mind that wants to be in control and come back to what you really feel. So when the intellectual part of you gets out of balance, you can get emotional in the different ways that can happen. It could be depression or stress or worry or doubt. All of that is a result of an out of balance intellect. Your true feelings or your psychic nature doesn't get into those kind of emotions. It's just the real you, pure feelings. There's no doubt, there's no pressure when you're in that part of you. So we all get out of balance, and don't beat yourself up for it, but just have practices that can help you tune back in to the real you. It's the good, kind, loving, sharing, understanding part of you, the fearless part of you. Imagine living in that state all the time. If you enjoyed this video and you'd like to learn more and perhaps stay in a relaxed state all the time and learn some tools to do that, I would love if you subscribe to my channel and share this video with your friends. And if you'd like more tips on connecting with your inner guidance, come on over to my website, www.communicatewithangels.com. On there you'll see a free report. You can sign up for a free report called The 3 Secrets to Communicating with Your Angels. And you'll also receive my weekly video and article tips on how to develop this inner guidance even more. Until next time, have an abundant day.